Same thing gonna happen with Spence. They're gonna figure out some type of excuse why Terence Crawford was successful in the Canelo Alvarez fight.
I'm different. I'm an elite fighter. So that's the difference, big difference.
But after fighters fight me, they never the same. So I just hope your career continue.
If you look at my career, never the same after me.
Terence Crawford sent a chilling message to Canelo Alvarez, promising to dismantle the Mexican superstar just as ruthlessly as he did Errol Spence Jr. Backing up that warning, Terence Crawford shared his thoughts on how he believes Canelo is approaching their potential clash, insisting that Alvarez knows better than to underestimate him. Crawford pointed out that the narrative around this fight often assumes Canelo has the upper hand simply because of his deep resume and years at the top of the sport. From Crawford's perspective, Canelo sees himself as so seasoned that there's nothing left in the ring that can surprise him.
I don't know. I just think, sometimes some fighters, they fight to their level of competition. And, I think he's definitely more experienced, with more well-rounded, given the experience that he had in the Floyd Mayweather fight. So we shall see.
Yeah.
No, he just seen a lot of fighters. He's been through the boxing game for a long time. He got a lot of experience, and in his heart and soul, he feel that I'm not gonna show him nothing new that he haven't seen before. No, not at all. He didn't fought southpaws, he didn't fought orthodox fighters. So, he's been in the ring with a lot of fighters, and in his mind, he don't see nothing new that I can bring to the table.
Expanding on his mindset, Terence stated that this showdown will be great, framing it as two legends stepping in to settle who's best. He's confident he'll deliver something special come September 13th, making it clear that while many focus on his power, it's his skill and ring IQ that will truly shine when the lights are brightest.
I'm a legend too, so we got two legends fighting each other, and I'm definitely daring to be great. And I'm going to be great September 13th. I'm not taking no credit away from Canelo's skills. A lot of people, they only talk about his power, but he's very skillful in there, and, he's respected.
Responding in kind, Canelo didn't hold back when taking a shot at Crawford, firing off a warning that he hopes Turkey is paying Crawford well, because once the final bell rings, Crawford won't walk away the same. For Canelo, the message is simple. This fight isn't just another payday, it's a chance to leave a lasting mark on Crawford's career.
We're gonna find out.
And don't get me wrong, you're a great fighter.
I know I'm great.
You're a great fighter, but you're gonna find out. I hope your uncle Turkey Alashi pay you enough money, because it's gonna be the last. That's for sure.
It may be. Maybe.
I hope he pay you enough.
But after fighters fight me, they never the same. So I just hope your career continue.
If you look at my career, never the same after me.
However, Crawford made it clear that he isn't concerned with the noise. He addressed how fans and critics might react if he hands Canelo a loss, believing that just like with the Errol Spence fight, people will scramble to come up with excuses rather than give him full credit. For Crawford, it's just part of the game, but he's ready to silence any doubts once again when the time comes.
Credit, or they're gonna make excuses. The same thing happened with Spence.
Same thing gonna happen with Spence. They're gonna figure out some type of excuse why Terence Crawford was successful in the Canelo Alvarez fight.
You gonna retire after if you win this fight, or you're gonna keep going?
I don't know. We shall see.
It is what it is. I got the style, I got the skills, I got the heart, and I'm not gonna sit around and...
Tensions only escalated further at the face-off when Canelo forcefully shoved Crawford, sparking a heated moment that nearly turned into a full-blown scrap right then and there. Security had to step in fast to separate the two before things got completely out of hand, adding even more fuel to an already explosive showdown waiting to unfold inside the rope. Canelo fans soon started chanting Mexico at the conference, hyping up Canelo and showing support for him. Reflecting on the shove later, Canelo Alvarez shared his reaction to the shove, saying it fired him up even more for what's ahead. He made it clear he's ready to go and fully locked in for the 13th, eager to settle things in the ring and looking forward to a clash that promises fireworks from the opening bell.
I'm turning on right now.
Right? Yeah. Did it make you want to go harder for the 13th?
I don't know, but made me feel more excited.
I love it.
I'm gonna train so far. You know, I've been in this sport like so many years. I had so many good fights in my career, and I had the experience to adapt myself to these kind of fighters. I fight everybody out there, every style, and I'm gonna do my job and put all my experience, all my talent there, and that's it. You know, I'm different. I'm a elite fighter, so that's the difference, big difference.
Meanwhile, boxing analyst Sean Zittel weighed in on the heated shove at the face-off, suggesting it came off as a bit staged. He pointed out that moments like that often play right into what event managers, promoters, and fans want, a surge of extra drama to crank up the hype and inject more heat into an already massive matchup.
No. That's not, there's 30 security guards.
It feels a little contrived.
You think so?
I think a lot of people feel it's a little like.
Well, I'm glad you used a big word that most of us don't know.
New York, that's a weak ass push by Canelo. And you know, that is not Canelo, what he did with Caleb Plant, that was real. You know, he slipped him and then slapped him, and that was like, okay. This felt like, hey, social media saying you guys are being too friendly. We're paying you all this money. We're putting the knockout bonus there. Come on, we got a fight to sell. Let's heat this up a little bit. Obviously, they're both great fighters, and they're both coming to win, and you know, but I don't want to get too deep into it today, but you know my thoughts on this, the big picture, like what's looming, the fight to me, because I'm the journalist, right? Is an afterthought.
Adding to that perspective, the Wade concept offered his take on the shove too, noting that the intensity felt different this time around, given how quickly everyone on stage jumped in to break things up. He described the whole scene as almost like a game of tennis, with Crawford and Canelo taking turns stepping up, sizing each other up, and raising the stakes every time they meet, all setting the stage for a fiery collision once the bell rings.
Watch Terence. Terence is not stopping here. He's walking straight up to him, way past Dana. Here's halfway. He's like, nah, I'm meeting you at your front door. And he's backing him up. Oh, and then there's the shove. Look at Bomac. Look at Bomac. Oh, shit, we got everybody getting in there. Reynoso, security, Michael Buffer. It's a game of tennis. It's a game of back and forth, because this time Canelo walks up on Terence. Like, yeah, okay, you got that one off. Watch this. Now I'm gonna push you back a little bit. Yeah, see, I'm gonna push you back just a little.
Looking back at Crawford's past fights, Sean Porter reflected on Bud's clash with Errol Spence, remembering how he overheard chatter from Crawford's corner saying their fighter wasn't even sticking to a game plan. Porter later learned that Crawford himself confirmed it. He'd been so fired up for that fight that he abandoned the original strategy altogether. For Porter, it was proof of just how dangerous Crawford can be when he fights on instinct and raw drive alone.
On my way out of the room, I was talking to his cousin, a couple other people, and I think it might have been Shakur, but somebody said, yo, he didn't even have a game plan. I said, what? He said he didn't have a game plan. He was asking us what he should do before the fight.
Shakur specifically, right?
So I think it was Shakur that said that. So then I talked to Crawford after the fight, and I know I talked to him on the podcast about this specifically, but then I talked to him afterwards, and I said, stop saying you didn't have a game plan. You had a game plan. He said, look, Sean, we had a game plan, but in the locker room before the fight, I just was fired up. And he said he had, even walking out to the ring, he had it like, you know, just so much energy, passion, dog. He wanted to go right after Errol, you know? So using that story again to relate to everyone, you're right. That dog is gonna be there, and he understands that he has to be smart.
Echoing support for Crawford, English pro boxer Denzel Bentley admitted he wasn't sold on the matchup at first, feeling Crawford had no business moving up to face Canelo. But as the fight drew closer, Bentley's confidence in Crawford began to grow. Now, he believes Crawford has what it takes to pull off the upset, pointing out that fans haven't seen Canelo at his absolute best in years, a factor that makes this showdown even more intriguing.
Oh man, at first I didn't like it. I was like, come on, don't do it, don't go up there, don't do it. But as it got closer, I'm believing in Crawford, man. I mean, I think he can pull it off. We haven't really seen the best of Canelo in years. I think his best days were at 160. When I think of it, that Danny Jacobs fight, that's probably the best performance I've seen Canelo in all these fights. I know he's had so many fights where he had better performance, but in recent times, just the lateral movement, the elusiveness, the way he lets his shots go, the just effortless kind of movement and you know, flowing of punches. Hasn't been that since then, since he moved to 168.
Pushing his point further, Bentley didn't hold back in his assessment of Canelo's current form, describing him as little more than a powerhouse hunting for a single big shot. He argued that Canelo's once sharp technique has faded, replaced by a slower, more static approach with fewer punches thrown and little setup behind them. For Bentley, this shift in style could be exactly what opens the door for Crawford to exploit when they finally meet in the ring.
He's just a powerhouse. He's slow with his feet, throws less punches than we've seen before. He's always looking for a big shot. That hardly sets anything up anymore. It's just his whole style has just changed, and it's worked for him because a lot of fighters go in there with that fear factor, like, oh my days, it's Canelo. Or he will wear you down at some point because he's so physical and strong, or when he hits you, you kind of don't want to know because he hits so hard. But I don't think Crawford's going to go in with that mindset. I think whatever Canelo brings, he's going to be able to match. He's got better feet. Even though at 154 his feet didn't look the best, but Majimov is a good mover. But he's got better feet, he can fight both ways, and I think he'll use more of his arsenal than what Canelo would use. So I think he would find it easier. So I think Crawford can beat him on points.
Agreeing to that sentiment, Tim Bradley didn't mince words when breaking down his pick, pointing out that if Canelo couldn't put Charlo away, it's hard to see him knocking out Crawford. For Bradley, the choice is clear. He'd back Bud Crawford to beat Canelo any day of the week, confident that Crawford's style and sharpness will be too much for the Mexican star to handle.
If Canelo couldn't knock out Charlo, or you really think that he's gonna knock out Crawford? I would pick Terence Crawford to beat a Canelo Alvarez, even at 168. Everybody can call me crazy and whatever you want to say. I get it. Y'all didn't believe me when I told you about Spence, but trust me, Crawford will figure out a way. I know a secret y'all don't know, and I ain't gonna tell you why I would pick Terence Crawford, but it's part of the secret.
On the flip side, Showbiz the adult weighed in with his own take, claiming the fight was already decided the moment Crawford faced off with Canelo. According to him, Crawford's body language at the stare down said it all. He realized right then that Canelo was on a level beyond anything he'd encountered before. For Showbiz, those subtle reactions revealed that Crawford might already be mentally a step behind before the first punch is even thrown.
While the press conference was ending, I was already scripting this reaction video to talk about how His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh has won the press conference. Until the bitter end, the face-off. And not just the face-off, the end. Can you please look at the end when Terence Bud Crawford made this face?
Once in a lifetime, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Terence Bud Crawford, Arabia.
The fight is over. See, I've seen that face before. I saw that shit on Rocky 3 when Rocky Balboa was staring down Clubber Lane. Forget that. I saw that face when Rocky Balboa was in the pool and Apollo Creed said, "One more lap."
Once in a lifetime, ladies and gentlemen.
That face is called the holy shit face. He stared down Canelo, and for the first time, he saw someone as great as himself. For the first time. he saw a killer.
Echoing a more measured perspective, Edgar Berlanga weighed in with a balanced breakdown, pointing out that in boxing, anything can happen once the bell rings. While he leaned slightly in Canelo's favor because of the natural size and weight edge, Berlanga didn't discount Crawford's threat for a second. He emphasized that Crawford's technical skills are elite enough to match up with anyone, making this matchup far from a foregone conclusion and promising plenty of intrigue when they square off.
I truly believe, that, anything can happen in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that is his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better. You know what I'm saying? But Crawford is a legend, bro.
Yeah.
And like I said, you can't.
Furthermore, Bob Arum didn't mince words when sizing up Alvarez's current approach to the sport. In Arum's view, Canelo no longer fights with the same fire to excite crowds, instead shifting his focus to chasing big money bouts above all else. For the veteran promoter, it's a sign that Canelo's priorities have changed, and that could play a role when he steps in against a hungry, motivated Crawford.
Canelo has shown in his last few fights that he's just a businessman. He's not in there to entertain the public. He just takes the big check. But again, if Canelo really fights, because I think safe to say Terence always fights. He doesn't know anything else. So then it could be a very good, interesting fight.
At the same time, Arum acknowledged Crawford's danger. He warned that the fight's quality depends on which Canelo shows up. The gladiator who once fought for legacy, or the money-chasing Canelo looking for his next payday.
What Canelo is going to show up? The Canelo who's looking to cash a big check, or the Canelo that really wants to fight like a fighter? Now, the Canelo we've seen the last 2 years is not only boring, but doesn't really have an incentive to mix it up and to entertain people with a good fight.
However, Crawford's coach, Bomac, was quick to push back, emphasizing that styles make fights, and in his eyes, Crawford has the clear edge. He believes Bud brings the sharper skills, the smarter style, and the stronger mindset to the ring. Confident in his fighter's preparation, Bomac went on record promising that Crawford will handle business when the two finally meet under the lights.
Like I told the other guy, skills pays bills. You gotta have skills, man, to be going up there to fight somebody like that, like a Canelo. And not only is his offense, he's got to have defense too. You know what I'm saying? So, styles makes fights. Bud got the better skills, and he got the better mind too.
Driving that point home, Crawford made it clear he isn't worried about needing raw power to hurt Canelo. For him, the real objective is simply to outbox him. He believes that as long as he sticks to his plan and stays sharp, the damage will take care of itself. If Canelo slips or makes a mistake, Crawford is certain he'll make him pay for it inside the ring.
You never fought at 168. You think you have enough power to hurt the great Canelo?
Of course. I don't have to have enough power to hurt him. I just gotta beat him. That's it. If he slip up, then, he will get hurt.
Although Canelo admitted he never pictured himself sharing the ring with Crawford, mainly because of the big weight difference that once made the matchup seem impossible. But as he put it, this is boxing, and in this sport, anything can happen. Now with the fight locked in, Canelo says he's counting down the days and can't wait to step through the ropes for what promises to be a historic clash.
No, I never thinking about the fight Crawford. I never in my life, because he's a low weight than me, but I never thinking about it. But that's the fun part of boxing. You never know what is gonna happen, right? And now we are here, and I'm glad to share the ring with one of the best fighters out there, and I'm just can't wait.
In American and Spanish.
I'm gonna win.
Spanish first.
¿Ah?
In Spanish first.
Voy a ganar.
¿Ganar?
Voy a ganar. Esa es la idea, ganar. That's the idea. Always in my mind doesn't exist a loss. I train, I put my best, I dedicate myself to this sport, and I'm just thinking about win. to make history, and this is no deception.
As the countdown to September 13th ticks away, one thing's certain: this clash between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez is shaping up to be more than just a fight. It's a collision of legacies with no room for excuses when the final bell rings. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more fight updates, and drop your prediction below, and we will see you in the next video with more exciting boxing updates.